Hello and welcome to Capitol Review. I'm Mark Hall. President Joe Biden is vowing to stay in the presidential race, rejecting growing pressure from Democrats to withdraw following his recent debate performance. Joining Capitol Review is Alex Gangitano. She's a White House correspondent with our media partners at The Hill. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Well, President Biden, as you know, says that he's staying in the 2024 presidential race, and it comes after what many are calling a disaster of a debate performance against former President Trump. Is that the right move?
You know, that's the big question here is should the president, he's 81 years old, as we all know, he'd be 86 years old at the end of a second term, and he's losing a lot of faith among Democrats right now. So that's the big question is should he be staying in this race? Right now, we have two sitting House members saying that he needs to drop out. But other than that, it's a lot of voices from folks like Democratic operatives, former aides to Biden or to former President Trump, people like that saying the Democratic Party really needs to rethink this. The president really needs to rethink this. And a lot of eyes are also on Democratic donors. There's people like Abigail Disney, the heir to the Disney franchise, who has said that she's going to withhold support unless they put somebody else at the top of the ticket. So voices from donors are really significant here. Meanwhile, Democratic congressional leadership and Democratic governors so far are having Biden's back. So none of them have dropped and said that he needs to leave this race, but a lot of eyes on them as well.
You mentioned a couple of lawmakers have called for the president to step down. Are these calls actually hurting the president?
You know, I think any time that there's a sitting lawmaker losing faith in your president, and these aren't the folks that are in, you know, the far progressive wing who have criticized him over, you know, they have been critical of him over the war in the Middle East and his handling of that. But these calls are so focused on his debate performance, his age, his mental stamina, and the fact that they don't think he can beat Trump here in November. So I think the focus of these calls is really something that could hurt Biden because he's, you know, supposed to be able to rally the Democratic Party. And right now, he doesn't have everybody on board having his back. Although, you know, polling has shown that he's not totally plummeting after the debate. He struggled before the debate in polling against former President Trump. So not much has changed there. But if people do start, you know, backing away and joining the Trump camp in terms of what we're seeing from voters, that's really the voices that he'll have to listen to as well.
Years ago, President Obama had a bad debate against, I think it was against Mitt Romney. Is that an unfair comparison?
You know, his first debate against Romney was bad, and I remember, at the time, and I've talked to presidential historians about, you know, these waves of how incumbents do in debates. In the past, at the time, people were saying, "Oh my gosh, he totally bombed this," but I think a lot of the focus was on, you know, could Mitt Romney be a contender here? You know, is he actually a great choice? He had a great debate, whereas instead, I think the focus here, Obama, was also in his 50s at the time, so I don't think it's a fair comparison in terms of they weren't wondering could Obama do the job. They were thinking could Romney do a better job. Instead, I think a lot of the reaction with Biden is could he handle this job? What is he going to be like a year from now, 2 years from now, if that's what he's like on the debate stage now?
How are Republicans responding?
You know, right now, the Trump campaign, you know, has said, you know, Biden's backing out. Let's start to attack Vice President Harris because she's going to be at the top of the ticket. I think Republicans are ready to jump on this chaos from the Democratic Party right now and start to maybe stir some information about her and get voters thinking about her. But at the same time, I don't think Republicans are being too vocal here because, you know, it's one of those situations that why not just let it play out and why not just let Democrats, you know, have their infighting look chaotic, and at the end of the day that ends up helping Republicans. So we haven't heard a ton from Trump besides, you know, him saying I think Biden's backing out and I think that we need to focus on Harris here. But otherwise his strategy has been pay attention to what's going on in the Democratic Party because that's all the mess, and finally, you know, we're not the mess. And I think they want to take advantage of that.
So what does this mean for President Biden and the Democrats going forward?
That's another big question here. Biden has insisted that he is not dropping out of this race. His White House, his campaign, they've all said it's not happening. He's sticking with it. I think a really pivotal point was on Wednesday night, we saw Democratic governors go into the White House and leaving and saying, we have his back, we're sticking with him. I think he's has some things on his schedule that are going to be really important moments for him. We're going to see an ABC interview. We're going to see a press conference next Thursday that it's around the NATO summit, but that will be unscripted, him taking questions from reporters like me, and we've been asking the president to do this time and time again. Those are going to be pivotal points because I think a lot of people are going to be watching these and saying, was the debate performance a one-time thing, or can he really not think on his feet? And, does he really need a teleprompter in order to give a really good speech? So he's lined up some of these big moments. And I think we've heard some reporting that after those, if he really messes those up, maybe then he'll start to rethink his political future.
Alice Gangitano, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.